Good morning, I'm Paul Luce.
And I'm Imani Payne. Thank you for joining us.
We begin with a chain reaction crash that led to a bus hitting the side of a house. The accident occurred in the 2600 block of Serralvo near General McMullen Drive. Katrina Weber tells us how at first the family inside didn't even notice.
A big, colorful Via bus resting against this home in the 2600 block of Serralvo. You couldn't miss it. But the two women who live here almost did when it crashed through their front yard around 6:30 this morning.
The day it rained, that big tree had turned over, and we thought that they were moving the tree, and no, to our surprise, the bus was in the corner of the house. So.
Well, that is a sight to see. Now, the San Antonio City Council is now looking to fill Ivy Taylor's former council seat after she was selected as the new interim mayor. The city is holding a special election in November to fill the District 2 council seat and is reminding those who are interested in running to pick up the information packets. This can be done at the city clerk's office on the second floor of City Hall. The deadline to submit an application for a place on the ballot is August 21st. All applicants must be 18 years old, U.S. citizens, registered voters in the city of San Antonio, and have held District 2 residency for at least 6 months, as well as San Antonio residency for at least 1 year.
We're turning our attention overseas with the latest on an Air Algerie flight that is now confirmed to have crashed. Wreckage from flight AH-5017 has been found in Mali, just 30 miles from the Burkina Faso border. The MD-83 aircraft with 116 passengers on board was flying from the Burkina Faso capital to Algiers after pilots reported severe storms. That's when air traffic controllers were said to have lost contact with the plane only 50 minutes after takeoff. Unconfirmed reports are saying at least 50 French citizens were on board. We'll continue to keep you up to date on that story.
And in other news, it's been 17 days since the start of the war between Israel and Hamas militants in Gaza. And so far today has been the deadliest. At least 119 Palestinians were killed, which now brings the death toll in Gaza to over 800. Israel has so far lost 32 soldiers since the ground invasion was launched on July 17th. ABC's Chuck Servenson reports.
As the fighting between Israel and Hamas rages on, Israel says its skies are open and clear after the Federal Aviation Administration lifted a 48-hour ban on U.S. commercial flights into Tel Aviv's Ben Gurion International Airport. The ban was imposed after a Hamas rocket landed about a mile from the airport Tuesday. Speaking on CNBC, President Obama explained the reversal.
In light of some scary moments a couple of days ago, the FAA took some prudent action. But it also engaged with Israel, and Israel was able to answer those questions.
Back here in San Antonio, a local professor has been closely following the violence in the Middle East and is trying to bring together faith communities to pray. Our Nightbeat's Marisa Mendoza attended a prayer meeting at University of the Incarnate Word last night where the faithful united in peace.
It's difficult the not knowing, and that's why this is so important.
Rachel Walsh, who is originally from Israel and who has family near the current violence there, says tonight's prayer meeting is healing. She says her faith is strengthened thanks to the support of the community.
They actually live in the south where there's a lot of bombing and rocketing, but they're okay.
And there was a bit of a scare this morning at the San Antonio Zoo after a monkey escaped from its enclosure. Around 8 this morning, Jude, a 4-year-old white-cheeked gibbon, managed to slip through a hole in the netting of his exhibit. It took trainers nearly 8 hours to get him back into his pen.
This is his home and he's pretty comfortable here, so he knew Mom and Dad were in a certain area, and that's the area he wanted to get back into.
Now the white-cheeked gibbons seen here are Jude's parents, and the little one there holding onto his mom is his brother. Zoo officials say none of the monkeys or members of the public were ever in any danger. And I mean, maybe that monkey was just trying to get into some air conditioning.
And Dylan, is the weather that bad that monkeys have to try to escape from their enclosures?
You know, I can't say it really is. I mean, it's been warm, yes, but it hasn't been too warm. It hasn't even hit 100 yet this year. And we were expecting it to hit 100 this year, but so far, we've only ever hit 99. That was twice in April. And the most recent time we've hit 99 was July. There's only been 12 years on record where San Antonio never hit 100 the entire year, and the latest first 100-degree day was September 28th of 2005. Taking a look outside right now, you can see it's very hazy, almost smoky and foggy looking, but that's not fog. That's smoke from the Central American mountains. There's lots of wildfires going on there. That mixed with its 72-degree dew point creates a very uncomfortable mixture, but it's nothing we can't handle. 85 degrees in San Antonio. It feels like 91 with the slight wind from the south-southwest at 9 miles per hour. Taking a look at temperatures across Texas, middle to upper 80s, some hitting in the 90s already. 91 in Victoria, 92 in Corpus, 84 in Hondo, 84 in Uvalde. Taking a look at dew points, you can see we're still pretty wet, actually. Wet, I guess, moist. Middle to low 70s, which is quite unpleasant. 70 degrees is that oppressive feeling. That's when you start to feel it sticky outside, and it's kind of uncomfortable. It also helps to make everybody feel like it's actually warmer than it really is. Taking a look at satellite and radar composite, you can see there's nothing happening over Texas, and that's attributed to one thing. There's this big old honking high out here in northwest Texas and southeast New Mexico. That combined with this clockwise flow, it's drawing in all this moist, actually it was dry, but now it's moist air. You can see the darker color is dry, and you can see that's being replaced by this white or lighter color, and that means that it's bringing in moisture. Now moisture is water I should say, in the air is a lot harder to heat up than just dry air, which is why I'm thinking we're not gonna hit 100. Now some of you might, but not everybody will. Taking a look at the high pressure system, what it's going to be doing for the next couple of days, Saturday into Sunday and early and late Monday actually, it's going to be sitting over us, and that should allow for some nice clear, maybe some clouds in the air, but hardly any precip and hardly any clouds, like major clouds. Taking a look, as that high pressure moves off west, going into middle and late next week, there's this big trough coming down from Canada. Now that trough brings colder air, and it's also bringing a cold front that could spark our rain chances for this next week. Now, taking a look outside right now, 12 o'clock, 89 degrees, warming up to about 98, about 6 o'clock tonight. It will feel a little bit warmer thanks to that dew point. Overnight tonight, 78 for our low with partly cloudy skies. It will be a little sticky, so be prepared if you're going out or whatnot. Waking up tomorrow, 78 when you wake up, 99 degrees, 5 o'clock tonight, or tomorrow, I should say. Taking a look at our 7-day, it's going to be pretty warm, 98s and 99s for the next couple of days. But as we move into late next week, or early next week, excuse me, you can see we do have our first chances of rain. Now that rain, like I said, will be triggered by this cold front that we'll be moving through. Now I say cold front, you can see 97, 96, 95. That's not necessarily cold, that's rather less warm, if you see what I mean.
Well, I think I speak for everyone when I say I am glad to see the chance for 100-degree weather go away.
Oh yes.
It's Texas summers.
Absolutely, but I know
everybody was expecting a scorcher this year, and it hasn't been anything like that.
But I know our Cowboys are experiencing cooler weather down in California, and
yeah.
I mean, Danielle, are they spending more time on the beach or out on the field?
A lot of optimism, but we got a lot of work to do, and we just got to go show it. We know what it takes, and we got to be able to have that breakthrough, and the only way to do that is go out and work hard every day.
It's a brand new Cowboys camp with the same old optimism in big board sports. After Cowboys head coach Jason Garrett decided to cancel the team's conditioning test this year, the players responded by organizing their own conditioning tests. Running through drills early this week at Valley Ranch and then Thursday in Oxnard, Garrett said their decision was good for team camaraderie. The first day of workouts were underway at the Cowboys training camp in California. And like last year when they had a lot of injuries following the first day, the Cowboys are changing things up this year. First of all, no pads today. In fact, none tomorrow. The first time we'll see that in camp will be on Saturday following a rash of early injuries in camp last season. They even changed the conditioning test to just stretching this season to ease the Cowboys into their full-fledged camp. This is definitely a much younger team this year with 48 new faces off of a team of 90 brought into the camp. But does that give veteran like Jason Witten cause for concern or optimism?
The urgency that you talk about and you want to play with, you got to show that, and that's what excites me every day is the leadership of this team. Our best players work the hardest and kind of set the tempo on the stage of what we want to be about. So a lot of young players and obviously talented, and they're going to help our football team, but we got to show them the way, and I think they'll be huge assets for us.
Heading into Texans training camp, running back Arian Foster is the most proven back on the roster. But the question remains, can he return to that form that made him an elite back from 2010 to 2012? Last season, he struggled before missing the final 8 games with a back injury. Some fans say he's now injury-prone and no longer a high fantasy football pick.
I think the whole world of fantasy football puts a spotlight on injuries for people who are high-profile fantasy players, and so an injury in the off-season will be blown up, and that's all they're talking about. And it's just like it starts to wear on people's minds. But like for the most part, I've been healthy my entire career, and being healthy as a running back is rare anyway.
Foster and the Texans open camp Saturday morning at 8:30. The Washington Redskins opened camp today in Richmond, Virginia, with new head coach Jay Gruden calling the shots. Quarterback Robert Griffin III practiced without the clunky knee brace that hampered him last season, and he got to play some toss and catch with one of his newest weapons, wide receiver Deshaun Jackson. The two didn't look sharp today, partially because of rain, but RG3 is not worried.
I think our chemistry is there. One practice doesn't tell you anything about chemistry. I know you guys don't get to see us that often, but you know, there's the first day back. We don't use that as an excuse, but he knows if I miss him one time, I'm gonna get him the next, and if he misses something, that he'll make that play for me. So that chemistry's there.
Jackson, who spent his first 6 seasons with the Eagles, say he's kind of hated the Redskins since they are NFC East rivals, but now he's excited to be there and playing with RG3. Last night, before a season-high crowd of 7,884, the Scorpions pushed their unbeaten streak to 8 straight matches by beating the Carolina Railhawks 2-0. They scored both goals in the second half after a lackluster first half.
At halftime, we told them that wasn't us the first half, and that we had obligation to ourselves and to our fans to show them the real Scorpions, and the guys did that, and I'm proud of them, and we got the well-deserved 3 points.
The Scorpions are currently first in the fall season with 9 points and tied with Minnesota for first overall with 26 points. San Antonio will play at Tampa Bay this Saturday.
Back to the desk. Well, thank you, Danielle.
It was a good season for the Scorpions.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us on this broadcast. We hope to see you again soon. I'm Paul Luce.
Again, I'm Imani Payne, and we'll see you here tomorrow.